Hey, what's up, guys? This is Brad with Be Real. Hey, I want to. This is a good one today. And do me a favor, please watch till the end. There was a thought that I had, something that happened to me when I was in my teens, and it just kind of rabbit holed and evolved into this that I'm going to talk about today. And I promise you, it's going to be great. It's going to be uplifting, and I want to keep reminding you. That you can click on a webpage that's called BeRealWithBrad.com. And that page is available for anybody. Yeah, it's available for a personal. Some of you would like to talk to a person. Like I had a text from a friend the other day who took a picture of the webpage and said, "Hey, what if I just need a little pick me up?" Hit the calendar, man. Hit the funnel. Just get on the deal. Not everything is about a monetary gain in my life. My whole deal, I tell you guys all the time, my whole deal is trying to get to more people and help more people. And today's a good one. And another thing, this is not one of those ploys that, sometimes you see these YouTube clips or TikTok deals and it says, watch till the end. But I really have a cool story to help you envision what I'm trying to say. Actually, this today is several what I feel like are cool stories to illustrate thoughts and illustrate ideas that I'm trying to communicate to you. Some are from my life, some are things that I've read. Anyway, enough about it. But today what we're going to talk about is your state of mind. And by the end, you hear that all the time, your state of mind, your state of mind, your state of mind. But I want to kind of explain it to you, but I'm going to tell you stories that will help you to understand it and help you to take control over your state of mind. And some of it I have some notes on, so I don't want to act like I'm trying to sneak that I'm reading something because I can't remember all this. So, but what a state of mind is it is a person's emotional or mental condition at any given time. It is a person's mental or emotional condition at any point in time. And the reason I keep saying any point in time is just because you start up, your day starts out with a rough state of mind does not mean you have to carry that all day long. In fact, I'll tell you a story. This used to happen to me a lot when I was managing people. I would have people walk over to me and they'd go, "You see that person over there? They just ruined my day." I'm like, "No, bro. No, they didn't ruin your day. Nobody can take anything from you you don't give them. So if you have a positive state of mind, I'm going to explain to you how you can condition that to continue to have that positive state of mind." And I'm going to tell you something, guys. This is not one of those deals I'm great at, and I'm trying to tell you, you need to be as good as me. This is something I struggle with on a daily basis. And so I can allow myself to drift into places that I shouldn't allow my mind to drift into, or I can fight it. But it's something that you have to condition, just like the gym. Anyway. So, a state of mind. And one of the main things I want to talk to you about is they always say, you're going to be as successful as you'll be successful as the 5 people you spend the most time with. The average of the 5 people you spend the most time. Yes, there are those people that might hang out with different people and they are able to rise above that, but it becomes very difficult. That's why it's very important to hang out with the right people. But so it is your external conditions are extremely important, but not as much. So I was doing a little research on this coming up to film this podcast or before this podcast. Do you know that the human brain, we as people, have an internal dialogue of 60 to 80,000 words a day? 2,500 to 3,000 words a minute is what we are saying to ourselves on a regular basis. Now think about that. 2,500 to 3,000 words a minute, 80,000 words a day. That's why it is so important for you to inventory and control what you are telling yourself. And I'm gonna give you some great illustrations here in a second. And watch to the end because I've got a great story at the end of this deal. So, and the reason I share that with you is because there again, I was in situations where I'm helping people, I'm leading people. It happens to myself. So I'm talking to myself 60 to 80,000 words a minute. But I will allow somebody to say 3 freaking words to me and let it ruin my day. So how in the heck can 3 words ruin what should be an internal dialogue of 60 to 80,000 words a day? That if you are practicing that and staying focused on that, then when those other little negative words come around from yourself or from other people, you just breeze right through them because you've been conditioning yourself on how to control that, how to keep your state of mind at the level that you're supposed to keep it at. And you're like, well, Brad, it doesn't matter, man. What does state of mind have to do? Let me tell you, your state of mind controls your emotional well-being, which means, are you happy? Are you sad? Are you joyful? Are you anxious? Are you angry? Your state of mind has a large impact on your relationships. So basically, your internal dialogue has a huge effect on the external product that you are producing. And that internal dialogue will create people that will want to become attracted to you, not just physically or beauty-wise, but attracted to you as a person. Your internal dialogue either repels people or it attracts people to you. It all comes from how you look at yourself and how you're talking to yourself. I can't tell you how important it is. And I'm telling you, I'm crap at this at times. I'm not good at this. So part of the reason I'm doing this is to encourage myself. Career success. A large part of your career success has to do with how are you talking to yourself. I'm sorry, it is what it is. Yes, people get good breaks. I'm going to get into some other things that could help with success, but really a lot of what has to do with success is where is your emotional state of mind, and what is your state of mind of where you're at, and how are you conditioning your state of mind. Problem solving and creativity comes from how are you talking to yourself. And your physical health. Look, so you're like, Brad, well, who cares about my state of mind? I do, and you should. Because if you do, then you have better relationships. You're more successful. You're healthier. People with a positive state of mind, it has been proven, live 3 to 5 years longer than people that have a negative state of mind. So I would say that's pretty important. We do all this stuff, try to eliminate all this stuff from our diets. We try to do all this exercise. We try to do all these things to elongate our lives, when one of the quickest, easiest things to do is just talk to ourselves like we should talk to ourselves. So let me tell you where this all came from. So when I was in probably like 9th grade, right? I ran track. I enjoyed running track. I ran a quarter mile. I did high jump. I did several different things. I just enjoyed it for some reason. At that time, I enjoyed running, and I enjoyed doing track. So I'm out. Then there's a high bar up, that you do the high jump. I did the high jump. And there's a high jump where it's called the Fosbury Flop, man. You run up to this bar, and when you get to the bar, you jump up over it, and you lean over it with your back, and you go over the bar. Well, I was pretty decent at it, but I was never great at it. And I think the highest I ever jumped was like 5 feet 8 inches, which that's not bad. I mean, but, for a 9th grader, 5 feet 8 inches ain't bad. I could almost jump as high as I was tall, right? So I'm out at the jump pits, what it's called, and the bar's out here, and I'm out here, and I've got my back to the bar, and I'm standing there joking and being funny and, not paying attention. I know y'all are shocked, but all of a sudden my Coach Replico, yells, "Brad, it's time for you to jump. Go and jump. It's your turn." And so I get rattled, and I just turn around. And I just start doing my normal motion towards the jump. And when I go to jump, all I see is, okay, there's the jump. There's the bar, which they know what to set it on, which is the best I've ever done. That's what I kept trying to do, was to try to do the best I'd ever done. So I run up to this bar, and I did it like that. It was a split second. I ran to the bar, saw the bar, knew that they knew where to set the bar, went up. I go, oh, this is going to be a little harder than what I think it needs to be. But my mind saw the bar, my body calculated that, and I cleared that bar, just like I always do. The place goes crazy because it was 6 feet 3 inches. It was 7 inches taller than I'd ever jumped in my life. 7 inches taller than I'd ever jumped in my life. Because I didn't know how high the bar was. And so when my state of mind kept telling me, hey, Brad, the best you can do is 5'8", 5'8", 5'8", then all of a sudden they set the bar, I run to the bar, I go over the bar, I cleared the bar, we all celebrate. Let me tell you something, and I'm just going to be real with you, never did it again. Even though I knew I could clear it, I was never able to do that height again. Because I had a state of mind, I had conditioned my mind to only be able to do a certain level. That's why it's so important to work on your state of mind, and to believe and to try and to push your limits. Let me tell you. Okay, I brought some illustrations with me. Here's another one to show you how important the state of mind is, and I'll tell this quicker. So I was reading about this. I read it before, but so the common house flea, the common flea that's on your pets or whatever, the common flea can jump 7 inches tall, and they can go a distance of 13 inches on average. So 7 inches tall, 13 inches in length. So I was reading up on this, but you can take a group of fleas, and you can put that group of fleas in a box that's only 2 inches tall. And so they go in, you put them in the little plexiglass box, and they jump, and they jump, and they jump, and they jump. If they do that for 48 hours in that box, they keep hitting that lid, right? Hitting that lid, hitting that lid, hitting that lid. And then the box is 2 inches this way, so that's all the further they can jump vertically or laterally, and they can only jump 2 inches vertically. And you keep them in that box, and they get conditioned for 48 hours. When you let them out of that box, they will never, ever jump more than 2 inches again in their lives. And so I'm like, okay, I've heard that story before, but I started reading to the end of the deal is, the crazy part about that is, the next generation of fleas, when they have kids, their beliefs will also be only 2 inches. So that's why it's so important for our beliefs and for us to believe that we can achieve the most we can possibly achieve, and not to literally put glass lids on ourselves, which we do it all the time, because not only does that limit us, it limits our progress, it limits our success, it limits our relationships, it limits our health. It not only limits ours, but it has an effect on the next generation. You can pass those beliefs on to the next generation. That's why that's so important. Once I read that, I was like, oh man, I got to share that deal. So I had like I said, these are going to be all different stories. I had this good friend of mine. He was a mentor of mine. His name was John Wilson. He was a sales manager with the company that I used to work for. Great guy. When I was younger, I used to be into doing, I loved lawn work. I used to own my own landscaping business. And, occasionally I'd go over to John's house and talk to John. John would come to my house. Great guy, right? So I go over to John's house, and I'm like, John, your yard, we had a little competition going, who could have the nicest yard. I go, John, your yard is amazing. He's like, yeah, it's amazing. And I started looking around, and I go, John, you don't have any weeds in your yard. You don't have any weeds in your yard. What are you spraying? What are you putting on your yard to make it where you have no weeds? He goes, Brad. He goes, you got it all wrong. He goes, I don't fight weeds. I grow grass. He says, and if I grow the grass strong enough, I don't have weeds. And it was like, that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about your mental state of mind. If you're focusing on growing positive, you don't have weeds, because the positive chokes out the negative. And so I completely changed. I never worried about another weed, never sprayed another weed as long as I was doing my own yard. All I did was to strengthen the grass that was in my yard, and if I strengthened the grass in my yard, it choked out the weeds that were in my yard. Now think about that for a second in your life. If you focus more on your positive, the human mind can only think of one thing at a time, and if you're focusing on the positive, then it chokes out the negative. And so like if you're in this place, you're like, Brad, okay, well, what do I do? Because hey, we all get into those situations sometimes of feeling of this hopelessness, right? And there's 3 things that I want to encourage you to do. no matter what it is. Start where you're at. Use whatever's around you. Start where you're at. Use whatever's around you and do whatever you can. That's all you can do. Is we all have a starting point, and all of us have a different starting point. And so, but the only thing you can do is that's the only thing you can do. What do I do? Well, you get up today, you start where you're at, you look around, see what assets you have that you can use to move yourself forward, whatever it is, whether it's physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever it is. What's around me? What can I use? What assets can I use? And you have assets around you. I promise you do. And then you could do whatever you can do. There's a famous guy that was owned a huge insurance company. He goes, all you can do is all you can do. All you can do is all you can do. And if you get to the end of the day and you can literally tell yourself, I did all that I could do, then you won. That's a success right there, okay? Okay, let me read this to you because I should have had this memorized, but I did. In one world, effort is a bad thing. It's like failure means you're not smart or you're not talented. If you were, you wouldn't need effort. So that's one world. One world is effort's a bad thing where you trying too hard and people say you try too hard, you're an overachiever. And, also like failure is a bad thing. Failure's not a bad thing. Failure just means you tried something that didn't work. Failure is actually a good thing because you can learn more from a failure than you can a success. We've talked about that before. But you cannot rely on your intelligence or your talent. If it comes down to effort. In other words, effort is actually what makes you smart and talented. Is the effort and energy that you put into whatever you're going to achieve today. Ultimately, that becomes what is smart. You're not going to be the smartest person. You're not going to be the most talented. You're not going to be, the strongest. None of those. Normally, that's not the case, right? But what you can be is the best you can be at all of those aspects of your life, and do all you can do is all you can do. And if you, I used to tell people that all the time. Every salesman, here's all I need you to do today. I just need you to go out and do the absolute best you can possibly do. If you can get to your car at the end of your shift, and when you're adjusting your rearview mirror, you can look in your rearview mirror and go, Brad, you did the best you could do today. Turn the car on, go home, and enjoy yourself, because that's all you can do is your best. You can't do your best. That we were talking about that before on comparisons. And if you ever go to a golf tournament and you watch a professional golfer, what they'll do is they will go up and they will hit their golf shot, right? And then when the next person goes up to hit their golf shot, they look down at the ground or they put their back to them, not to be disrespectful, but they don't want to compare themselves to that person, and they don't want to pick up any bad habits or pick up any tendency that person's doing, because the way that they swing and hit the golf ball works for them. It ain't going to work for me. So you shouldn't be comparing yourself to anybody anyway. All you can do is all you can do. And you have to take the assets that you have that are closest to you, use those assets to do whatever you can do to move yourself forward. Greatness is found in the process or power, but it is the hero who awakens within us, driven by a mindset, a state of mind, and you choose to embrace those things. Okay, let me tell you this last story. So there's this guy, Youth Pastor Ryan. I don't know how I came across this deal. Youth Pastor Ryan. He's really not a pastor. If you look at him, he does some public speaking. He's a comedian. He does talks, motivational speaking, different things like that. But he looks super young, so somehow he got hit with the phrase Youth Pastor Ryan. So what he did was, and this is my last thought, and I thank you guys for hanging in there to the end to listen to this, because I really want you to hear this. This is when I read this, is like, this is what I want my life to be more like. This is what I want to do more in my life. This is why I'm trying to do what I'm doing. So he goes to this school. Youth Pastor Ryan goes to this school, and they do this experiment. And what they do is there's 8 classrooms in this hallway, 30 kids per classroom, and he gets the teacher to blow up balloons for every child or every person that's in that classroom, right? So they have these big bags of balloons. It's got their first and last name on it. They put all these balloons in these big garbage bags, and then Youth Pastor Ryan shows up to the school. They all walk out in the hallway. All 240 students walk out in the hallway, and the teachers go empty these balloons all the way up and down this hallway, right? So there's 240 students, 8 classrooms. They've got all these balloons, and then they walk up and down the hallway to mix up all these balloons, right? So the experiment is then they explain to the students, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a few minutes here, and the first person that can find the balloon with their name on it, basically they're going to be looking for a needle in the haystack. The first person that can find the balloon with their name in it we're going to give them a prize. And so they hit a buzzer, the kids start, they go, it's just laughter, fun. They're going up and down the hallway, picking up balloons. 5 minutes go by, 10 minutes go by. Nobody finds the balloon with their name on it. So they hit the buzzer again, tell everybody stop the experiment. They do a different experiment. Here's the next experiment. This is what I'm encouraging you, why I'm encouraging you to do something nice for other people, and I'm going to explain it to you why it is, which ultimately ends up helping your state of mind. I deal with it all the time. I get overwhelmed with things. I get things that have become overwhelming to me. And what I have found for me is the quickest way for me to feel better and have a better state of mind for me is to reach out to somebody else to help them with their state of mind. Then I walk away. As I lift other people, so too am I lifted. So back to the experiment in the hallway. So they put all the 240 balloons in the hallway. All the kids line the hallway. The teacher gets on. He explained, Youth Pastor Ryan explains, okay, now here's what we're going to do. What I need each student to do, it had their name, first name and last name, and the classroom that they were in. So I said, here's what I need you to do. I need every student to pick up a balloon, and when you pick up that balloon, I need you to read the first and the last name in the classroom, and I want you to walk that balloon. You pick up one balloon, you read the name on that balloon, you walk that balloon to the person that's name is on that deal. Within 10 minutes, the hallway was empty. Within 10 minutes, the hallway was empty. You want to know why? That this whole chaotic situation of everybody trying to do it on their own, 240 people fighting against each other, 240 people scrambling against each other, 240 people. No, it took one person to pick up one balloon, to do one act of kindness, find the other person, walk over, hand them their balloon, and within 10 minutes, the hallway was empty, and there was peace and calm. And the rest of the exercise was, after you find that balloon and you go over and you hand it to that person, try to find out or get to know that person better and learn something about them you didn't know. It completely changed the whole grade, the rest of their lives that they were in school, that one experiment, because they were able to see what one little act of kindness can do and how so basically it comes down to us helping just one person for just a few minutes makes the whole world less chaotic. I'm telling you, if the whole world would do that, whole analogy right there, the whole world becomes less chaotic. There's less stress, less anxiety. We're not in it by ourselves. We're all working in this deal together. So I'm going to recap this deal. State of mind is so important. Not just important, but it's important for your health. It's important for relationships. It's important for your success. Like me in the high jump deal. If you don't control your state of mind, you're going to hit a glass lid, okay? You're going to only be able to achieve so much. Your body and your life will never go anywhere that your mind cannot see it going. Your body, your life will never go anywhere that your mind can't see you going first. That's why it's so important. And it is extremely hard for anybody to be successful unless they can envision themselves being successful first. And anybody can do it. You know how you do it? Start where you're at. Use what's around you and just do whatever you can do today. Hey, guys, go have a great day. Remember, be real with Brad. If I can help you in any way, hit that calendar. Let's talk about it for a second. Thanks for everything.